It was 1 week after war had broken out here in Ukraine when a major news story broke about Donald Trump's attempt to overturn the 2020 election. The January 6th investigation released an email it had obtained sent by a lawyer working with Donald Trump to nullify Biden's victory. The email, sent by John Eastman, implored then Vice President Pence's staff to commit, quote, one more relatively minor violation, end quote, of the law in order to delay the election certification of Biden's victory. Well, the implications of that email were, of course, huge. Eastman was essentially admitting in an email that he knew their scheme to overturn the election was illegal, that it violated the law. But he asked the vice president's office to go ahead and do it anyway. That email was among the evidence collected by the committee, which led it to conclude that Trump and his allies had likely committed crimes in their attempts to get Congress to overturn Biden's victory. Well, today we got another major development in that story when a federal judge essentially agreed. For the first time since the January 6th attack, a federal judge agreed that former President Trump and Eastman likely committed crimes in the lead-up to January 6th. Quote, based on the evidence, the court finds that it is more likely than not that President Trump and Dr. Eastman dishonestly conspired to obstruct the joint session of Congress on January 6th. It was a coup in search of a legal theory. If Dr. Eastman and President Trump's plan had worked, it would have permanently ended the peaceful transition of power, undermining American democracy and the Constitution. If the country does not commit to investigating and pursuing accountability for those responsible, the court fears January 6th will repeat itself, end quote. Those words from a federal judge in a ruling today in a civil case to determine whether Eastman would keep his email communications secret from January 6th investigators. Eastman, and by extension Trump, lost this round. And that was just one of the several major developments today in the January 6th investigation. NBC News reports that the January 6th investigators are meeting tonight behind closed doors to discuss whether or not to call Ginni Thomas, the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, in for an interview. The move comes after last week's revelation that Ginni Thomas sent a series of 29 conspiracy theory-laden texts to Trump's White House chief of staff in the lead-up to January 6th, urging the president not to concede and referencing a, quote, army who is gathering to support the president. Well, tonight we also learned that the former president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is expected to appear virtually before the committee this week. And tonight, just before we got to air, investigators voted unanimously to recommend criminal charges against two more Trump aides, Peter Navarro and Dan Scavino, for refusing to comply with the committee's subpoenas.